The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Experts found 23 holes in the sunken empty Princess Empress, which caused the massive oil spill in Oriental Mindoro. Mon Gualvez reports.
Dark and thick oil continued to seep upward from some of the valves of the sunken empty Princess Empress in the waters of Nauhan, Oriental Mindoro. In this video, taken by the remotely operated vehicle or ROV from Japan, some parts of the ship also had marks left behind by the oil. All in all, the ROV saw 23 points or areas in the ship that had a leak. It's been 3 weeks since the tanker sank. Now, the front of the ship has been severely damaged and cracked due to the intense water pressure.
Habang bumababa, remember, nung gumaganyan siya, malakas ang pressure brake. Merong loose ang thread. Dahil din sa pressure, meron din namang, siyempre, ano yung tawag doon? Sa pagbaba ng mga tubo, ang tubo kasi pag umiibo, metal yan, pwedeng mag-break.
The tanker was found at the depth of 390 to 395 meters or around 1,300 feet under the sea. Till now, the ROV findings prove inconclusive as to how much oil is seeping out and is yet to find its way out of the sunken empty Princess Empress. But one thing is for sure, no more leaks have been found in the fuel service tanks. This had held the petroleum that was used for the consumption of the ship. Meantime, all 8 cargo tanks in the vessel were found to be leaking. Even the ballast tanks, which provided balance to the ship. Fortunately, according to the provincial government, the ship was upright when it sank.
Walang corals. Ang nasa sa ilalim lang ay puro buhangin. May ilang presence of fish, may starfish, at ang marami daw po ay shrimp.
At this point, authorities recommend 4 measures. First is bagging, the fastest means to plug the leaks. Specialized bags that repel air and water would be used to coat each hole so oil could be collected. While this is being done, they can proceed with patching or sealing the leaks with metal parts and acetylene. Next is hot tapping, where the ROV will be connected with specialized parts that envelope and patch heat to the ship in order to thin the oil. In this manner, pumping out the oil would be better and easily done. Authorities deem this necessary because the oil tanker can no longer be raised.
Hindi dapat sapagkat pag angat ng barko, because of the pressure, the vessel might tawag nito, it's a disaster. It might break. Pwede siyang mabiyak. So kung mabibiyak siya at may laman ang 8 tangke, it will be a disaster to all.
Despite the developments in the oil spill response, authorities remind towns and provinces near Oriental Mindoro not to be complacent.
The oil is already at sea. Nasa dagat na siya eh. Yung nakikita natin sa Nabotas, yung nakikita natin sa Batangas, ito yung oil na nakamix na sa sea. Hindi na ito fresh oil eh. Hindi na ako naniniwala ng fresh oil to eh. Ito na yung nadala na ng hangin, nagmix na siya. Kaya pag tumabi yung oil na to, may nipis na line na lang siya.
At the moment, shoreline surveys and cleanup continue. In fact, experts recommend longer work hours to hasten cleanup. They also eye social engineering or line of messaging to lessen fear and hopelessness among residents amid the tragedy. This also aims to encourage them to cooperate in resolving the oil spill. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
In other news, the Office of the Ombudsman suspended 33 government officials over the allegedly irregular procurement of pandemic supplies. These include officials from the Budget Department's Procurement Service and the Department of Health. Respondents were placed under a 6-month preventive suspension. In the order, Ombudsman Samuel Martirez said that there is strong proof of the respondents' guilt. The suspension order stemmed from complaints filed by Senator Risa Ontiveros and former Senator Richard Gordon. And in business, telco giant PLDT posted mixed earnings in 2022 after incurring a 45 billion peso budget overrun last year. To break down the numbers for us, we have mobile journalist Michelle Giliang reporting to us over the phone. Michelle, hi. How was PLDT's earnings performance last year?
Yes, Sean, in a press conference on Thursday, PLDT Inc. reported a 10% growth in its telco core earnings for 2022 compared to a year ago. From 30.2 billion pesos in 2021, the telco giant's telco core income rose to 33.1 billion pesos in 2022. PLDT also posted an increase in its consolidated service revenues by 4% year-on-year to 190.1 billion pesos in 2022. PLDT President and CEO Al Panilio said that the rise in its net service revenues are primarily driven by its fiber business, which increased by 45% on year to 48.5 billion pesos. This after the Pangilinan-led telco gained more than 500,000 new customers last year. The telco giant spent 96.8 billion pesos in capital expenditures for 2022, while it is looking to recalibrating to between 80 to 85 billion pesos for this year. Meanwhile, after the company's reported 48 billion peso budget overrun, the telco revealed that after a forensic review, it identified no evidence of fraud, intentional concealment, or bad faith conduct on the part of any employee of the company, and that there is no basis to restate the company's historical financial statements. These findings were found after a forensic review of the elevated capex commitments conducted by an external counsel with the assistance of accounting and audit consultants focused on the period 2019 to 2022. The telco also said that it already negotiated with its major vendors and reduced its outstanding commitments to around 33 billion pesos net of advances paid to these vendors. Meanwhile, PLDT Chairman Manny V. Pangilinan said he is relieved upon learning the conclusion of the case, adding that it is incumbent upon the management and board to move forward and recover the reputation which he said the company may have lost following the incident. He also assured that the financial and operating conditions of PLDT remain strong and that there is no downgrading of major credit standing.
Thank you for that update, mobile journalist Michelle Giliang over the phone. Thanks, Michelle. More stories still to come after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Congressman Richard Gomez says that he was able to convince House Speaker Martin Romualdez to support charter change through a constitutional assembly or CONAS. Gomez made this claim in a press conference held by his political party, PDP Laban. The later representative also noted that House Committee Chairman on Constitutional Amendments Rufus Rodriguez is likewise in favor of charter change through a CONAS. Recall that the lower chamber has already passed the bill calling for a constitutional convention or CONCON to amend the Constitution.
Nung nireport ko sa House Leader namin, yun na pag-usapan namin sa PDP, na ang pag-uusapan lang ho natin sa Constitutional Amendment, CONAS, Constituent Assembly, pumayag si Speaker. Nireport ko mismo kay Kong Rufus and he totally agree na sa BICAM na lang magkikita. In-explain ko sa kanya, sinabi ko sa kanya lahat at pareho din na sinabi ko kay Speaker. And sabi niya, perfect. Good. What is important is that the amendments should move.
And food waste and hunger remain to be huge problems around the world, especially here in the Philippines. But what exactly can Filipinos do to prevent wastage? The details in this report.
Filipinos always love to put food on the table, but sometimes we also leave quite a lot of leftovers, and this is not a good thing. Reynaldo, for one, admits that in their household there's always some leftover food on the table.
Nauna, yung mga anak ko, pagka kinain nila ngayon at may natira, hindi na nila po pwedeng kainin pa kinapunan yun.
Because of this, their strategy as a couple is to just finish the leftovers.
Kaya lang minsan, siyempre nabubusog ka na, hindi mo na kayang ubusin, may leftover pa rin.
In the latest expanded National Nutrition Survey of the Department of Science and Technology, Food and Nutrition Research Institute, rice, fish, and vegetables are the most wasted food in the Philippines. This is according to more than 21,000 families across the country who participated in the said study. Each family wastes about 76 grams of food every day, equivalent to 8 spoonfuls, which is a cause for concern for the agency.
It's actually a public health concern kasi para sa aming mga nutritionists, pag sinabi namin pong food waste, plate waste, it's equivalent actually to nutrient waste.
The study also showed that when a family is bigger, their consumption is also higher, resulting in more food waste. The DOST-FNRI mentioned that 1,717 metric tons of food are wasted every day in the Philippines, food that can feed the hungry. Most cases of food waste occur because people buy more than they can actually consume.
Pag nagdi-discount yung mga specific food products, ang tendency mo ay magdami ka ng pagkain, but then eventually pala, hindi mo naman pala maluluto, mag-e-expire lang.
The food or plate wastage may be higher if the wastage in restaurants is included in the count. But for carinderias, they manage not to contribute to this.
Halimbawa, may mga tira-tira kaming kunti, yun ang kinakain namin, yun ang inuulam namin.
The DOST-FNRI advises those who often leave food uneaten to just buy and serve what is enough to avoid wastage. As for the Pinoy term pangat, when referring to food that has been recycled or gone through several reheats, it's also a good practice. Arian Kalumbiran, we are One News.
And here is a quick look at today's other top stories. 93% of Filipinos say that they have personally experienced the impact of climate change in the past 3 years. This is according to a recent social weather station survey. Moreover, 17% of the respondents noted that the impact that they felt was severe. Despite this, 88% of those surveyed agreed that they can do something to mitigate climate change risks. 5 more suspects in the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo have surrendered. This brings the total number of suspects now in government custody to 10. The Interior Department said that the recent surrenderies had direct participation in the crime that also killed 12 Negrenses. Senate adjourned on Wednesday with 14 measures now up for President Bongbong Marcos's signature. Among these are the bill for the modernization initiatives of the armed forces, as well as the Agrarian Reform Beneficiaries Act. These 2 bills are part of the shared priority measures of the executive and legislative branches. One News Now will be back at 5:30 p.m. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.